What are we doing? I have $1 million. Should I deposit that? Or try this? I don't know if I actually sent that invitation. Ugh. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello?
Ah,
When
well,
I signed on to PlayStation, I accidentally clicked on the Stella profile that I guess we had set up when we made or played River City Girls together. And
oh,
and so when I tried to start a party just now or 5 minutes ago, perhaps it was like Harrison Shoot has invited you to a party. I was like, what? So I didn't know if that actually worked or not.
how meta it would have been. Me, you, and me.
I know it's too much.
Oh my gosh, it's been 2 weeks.
I know it's really been too long. In fact,
Did you miss me more or Donovan?
um, I guess I missed you since we have regular meetups.
That's what I like to hear.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, welcome back. Tell the people all about it.
It was fine.
Oh gosh. In the passive aggressive sort of fine.
Fine. That's how it was. Um, I don't know. I mean, it wasn't really a vacation that was I would ever do on my own. So take that for what it's worth, I guess.
Highlight, low light.
Highlight, low light. Strangely enough, I think the food was probably the highlight. And we ate at a couple of chains. I mean, they were fairly regional, so they were new to me. But yeah, pretty much all the food I ate was good. If you can believe
How
that.
many burgers did you get?
It's a lot of burgers.
Uh, do you think
Um,
your cholesterol is really high?
I mean, I like to think that we um, sort of canceled it out with all the exercise. But I did get my lab work drawn today, so I guess we'll find out.
Oh boy.
Um,
They'll say that you have the cholesterol of an obese 40-year-old male.
that's pretty much what I am, almost. Although she said my height weight ratio was okay, which was news to me. Um, yeah, we started out with an In-N-Out burger, which apparently they have in other states that aren't California. But I, my previous experiences with In-N-Out Burger were like, I think this burger is overrated, and now I think it is just bad. So take that, California.
Did any of your family like In-N-Out Burger?
I think everyone did. Grace especially is a big fan. She had it twice. Oh, come on. Paralyzed already? Just because of the way things worked out. But yeah, that was pretty much it. I fool around with a GoPro, which was good practice for July.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the footage.
Yeah, I edited together Hard time at arches. Ah!
Uh-oh.
This is not good. I should just restart this. Yeah, there's no use. Uh-oh, can I not do that? Because I kept turning off the camera whenever we stopped.
Oh, yeah.
So they would be in like 5 or 10 minute bursts. So I had to string all those together, and the footage is, I think it like auto stabilized, which I was worried about. Well, I mean, I'm glad that it did, but sometimes my angle was askew because I didn't know how straight it was on top of me head, and I did not wear my hat backwards like a cool kid, so the bill is sometimes at the bottom of the frame, bobbing, unfortunately. But other than that, it looks good. It's like really high def, and the audio actually came through. So I do have to edit out the spare instances of like gossip or comments about other people.
Oh, gosh.
Because there was one where Mom said Emily and Ryan would just be running through here, Emily and Ryan being young cousins. And Maggie said something like, Emily's getting a little chubby now, or something like that.
Oh, gosh.
That got the axe. Stuff like that. Okay, we're back to square one, and the bad guy. Oh, there. But yes, as the mayor mentioned to you, there was a glitch on. I don't know when it was, but it was like right in the middle, maybe Wednesday or Tuesday. And it was pretty bad. It was like pretty much right after I'd spoken to you and said that there were like no real problems so far.
Yeah.
So this is the day that we go to, I don't remember what it was called, but it was on a Navajo reservation in Arizona. And it's like a cave, kind of. I don't know, you like walk through it, and the tour guide kind of, well, she kind of tells you like how to shoot the cave with your new iPhone and what filter to use, which I thought was kind of curious, but then I realized it's because like that's like pretty good advertising for the exhibit or whatever you'd call it on social media, so they want those pictures to look as good as possible. So yeah, we're going through, taking pictures, and it's pretty cool. But going into the area with the caves, there was this sign that talked about like certain rules and stuff, like no backpacks. I think because I actually don't know why. I theorized it was because they didn't want anything scraping against the walls of the cave unnecessarily, but I don't know. And there was another one that said no profanity, which I thought was interesting, and I made a mental note of it. So at the end of the cave, it was probably like 20 minutes, wasn't even that long, I hear Maggie, within earshot of the Navajo tour guide woman, say to Gracie, "Get out of the shot. It's not just about your fucking pictures."
Oh my gosh.
And I laughed at it because that's like a defense mechanism I've had since I was very young. And I also didn't really know if she was joking or not. And then she was just quiet for the long walk back from the cave.
Who's she?
Maggie.
Okay.
And I didn't really know what was going on.
And Maggie was the one that you said in a stern voice?
Yes.
Okay.
So we drive from the caves to the next exhibit, which is a viewpoint, with a little bit of a walk. And so we get out of the car, and Maggie, I couldn't really tell what was going on. Oh, we had actually, so the first gentleman and I had gone to the bathroom. So when we got back to the car, Maggie was crying.
Oh gosh.
And
Can I pause
Yes.
and just ask when, like, what day was this in the trip?
I don't remember. I think it might have been Wednesday.
Okay.
If that
So
was the-
far, like, it wasn't the beginning, but like midway, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, continue.
Um, let's see what happened. So there's some discussion. Maggie's not really talking, but the mayor is like, "I'm just gonna stay here. You guys go ahead." And so me, the first gentleman, and Gracie went and started walking along the trail, which was just super fun to just not know what was going on, uh, and try to enjoy, and as much as anybody does, enjoy these things. Um, and then eventually the mayor comes along and catches up with us, and she's crying. And she says, I think she just feels bad when she snaps at people. And I learned that she had also yelled at the first gentleman because apparently he was standing too close to her at some point in the cave. And she was like, get away from me, or something like that. And of course, she'd been snapping at the mayor all week. I mean, that's just her mode. So then the mayor says she booked a ticket back home.
Oh,
And it's a flight out of Phoenix, which is
who's the she? The mayor did, or Maggie booked her own ticket?
Maggie booked her own ticket.
Okay.
It is a flight out of Phoenix, which is 4 hours away. So the mayor is texting with David, Maggie's live-in boyfriend, or I guess she'd be the live-in girlfriend.
Since it's his house, yeah.
And he says, like, if she needs to be picked up, I can pick her up when she comes, but I don't think he really knows what to do. He mentioned that like she has problems, but he says she's a lot better than she had been in years past. And I think to myself, you have known her for 1 year.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, what do you mean years passed?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was curious. I mean, I understand. Maybe he's just trying to make the mayor feel
Yeah.
better, but he was as accommodating as possible. And so we're in the midst of like taking pictures or whatever you do on the cliffs of a mountain, trying to like puzzle out what's going on. Gracie says she blames herself and she feels bad because she feels like she might have triggered something. She also notes that Maggie's vape pen, which had been getting quite a bit of use, was seemingly malfunctioning that morning, so maybe she just hasn't had her juice. And the mayor is just catastrophizing, being like, the airport is 4 miles away. I don't think she realizes, or 4 hours away. I don't think she realizes
Yeah.
this. And I'm thinking it is very possible that we all drive to the airport and drop Maggie off and she goes home. And if she
Yeah.
does that, I am never speaking to her again.
Oh, wow.
Like that would have been it. I mean, thinking back on it now, I don't think that that's the case, but I was so mad. And also just thinking, as you might, about poor Rachel in New York, who famously left her little friend group and was
Right.
excommunicated forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this tension pretty much continues. We go back to the car. Maggie's not saying anything. We go back to the hotel room. Maggie's not saying anything. I think she gets into bed. Funnily enough, what we did not know at the time was that while Maggie was sitting in the car alone, in the back seat, I think sleeping, somebody had entered the car.
Oh, by accident, a
By
stranger?
accident, yes. And she did not like pop up and say, excuse me. They just left before anything happened, so that's kind of funny. And so we're kind of just talking about like what's going to happen. Time is, ticking by. Uh, and so it's like, well, is she, even if she goes through with this, she's probably going to run out of time. Uh, and eventually she just comes back into the room and she's quiet, but you can tell she's in like apology mode. She never really says, I'm sorry. Um, but she just kind of like suggests that everything's okay. And what happened next really bothered me, which was,
More so than you've already been bothered?
yeah,
Okay.
um, basically the family was just like very happy, of course, that everything was fine, and it was almost like a pressure release valve. Like everything that was funny, they were just laughing at extra hard, and I realized that that's something that I would always do as well, which is to say, you accommodate the problematic behavior and never acknowledge it and just pretend that it never really happened. Um, and I just couldn't do it anymore. I mean, and I think it's just because it's been so long. Because like this used to happen a lot when I was a kid, and when Maggie was a kid, and I assumed that as she is an adult now, that she wouldn't do stuff like this anymore. But we haven't really spent a significant amount of time with her in this way since like 2019 when we went to Korea, in which the mayor says that she had a meltdown, as we would call it, but I don't honestly remember. Um, so this was kind of like, I don't know, a bit of a system shock for me. Familiar and at once, well, it was sort of like externally familiar, but I was a different person and I just could not deal with it anymore. So that kind of broke me a little bit, and I never fully recovered. Um,
And you were the only one that felt that way in that moment?
that it seemed that way. No, I just think everybody was just relieved that everything was back to normal, but like I just could not fathom like just accepting what had happened.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know. And so it's lots of mysteries that we still don't really know, like what set her off that day. Did she actually buy a ticket and is out like $200 or something?
200
or
if it was
however
day
much.
of? Yeah, I know.
Yeah, more than that.
That's what I was thinking. But you did tell me that she's got the cash.
She does. She does. Um, so yeah, I mean that was pretty much. And like as it was happening, I was like, I know I'm going to have to explain this to Stella, but I just don't know what even happened. So yeah, it was really weird.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Well, because you said that I mean, I have like several follow-up questions, but the one thing if the mayor's correct that she intuited that when Maggie snaps, she feels bad. I feel like the obvious answer is to like not snap at somebody, and then you won't have that kind of feeling. Is Maggie in some sort of therapy?
She's been, I think she's had like several therapists, and it just never works out. I assume she's bipolar, but we don't.
Okay.
So I think the next step would just be psychiatry.
Yeah.
Apparently she's on antidepressants too. So I just don't know.
Yeah. And I'm shocked that she snapped at your dad, because you told me that they're very close.
Yeah.
And I always feel bad if I hear someone going after the mayor. And I will also say that there's nothing worse than seeing your mother cry. It's like the worst thing in the world. So just hearing that, that Kathy was crying, like, makes me upset too. So I'm sorry that that all happened.
Yeah, it's that is hard, and she does it a lot. Actually, it's become kind of a running gag. Not
Oh
because she's
no.
sad, but sometimes because
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, when it is because she's sad, that's something you never really get used to. I would agree. Shoot, what am I doing here? Um, but yeah, what can you do, right?
What can you do? So that must be. I asked your mom. I was like highs and lows, and she told me her highs, and she said the lows. There was a glitch that Harry can tell you about. Which is this the glitch?
Yes.
Okay. I jokingly said, was Harry the glitch? Because I said if you don't oil him properly, he starts to wig out. Wow, yeah, that's too bad. But I guess it came back together. I remember I did ask you. I was like, tell me if anything, like if there's tension or anything, because every sort of family trip that I've heard about, there's like been some sort of explosive moment. And so I'm sorry that you fell to that as well,
Yeah.
that tradition. Yeah.
Just
What,
seems
what,
inevitable.
yeah. Where do you go from here, you think? Like, if this kind of stuff happens again, are you going to, well, you don't like confrontation, but do you think you would try to have some sort of conversation to, like, sort through it rather than the way of just sweeping it under the rug?
Um, in my family, I am known as the only person who can really like reach Maggie, but uh, yeah, I don't think she'd be open to it. Unfortunately, I don't know. I really don't know
Okay.
what the answer is.
Well, now I'll be extra cautious. I mean, I don't, after my faux pas, I don't necessarily engage anymore. But I would, yes, I'd be ever cautious. I'll be even more cautious.
Well, it reminded me a lot of that movie we watched, A Real Pain, where Jesse
Oh
Eisenberg
gosh.
he kind of breaks down at some point. He's like he's so amazing, but he's like so complicated or whatever. And it's like it's true that like
Yeah.
Maggie's very funny and charming, but like you just have to be so careful because at some point like she's just gonna explode and you have no idea what happened. And I think that's a pretty common story in families. Like you just yeah, they're just people who are kind of difficult sometimes.
Yeah. Mm. Also sorry that Grace got yelled at.
Yeah.
I feel like she's so sweet that was, yeah, unnecessary.
Well, that was
Well,
her Las Vegas experience.
oh gosh. Yeah, her Vietnam, which always cracks me up how you refer to it like that.
hmm The funny
Yeah,
thing
well
is,
now, oh
yes.
yeah? No, you go ahead.
Well, for our last date, we were actually in a town just outside of Las Vegas, and there
Right.
was some rumblings that they were going to go together
Ooh,
onto the strip because they both wanted to, which was just blowing
okay.
my mind.
Maybe she forgot.
I think so. It's like when you forget the pains of pregnancy.
Oh gosh. Like, it wasn't that bad, right? Yeah. Do you have more empathy for Rachel?
Um,
I mean, you don't fully know the story, but I don't know.
I guess I kind of always feel like she got the shaft. Um, because that didn't seem as unreasonable, or it didn't seem unreasonable that if there was some issue that you would just go home, I guess.
Yeah.
But on a family vacation halfway across, or not even halfway across the country, yeah, that's a little bit different. But anyway, that's how we're opening the stream today. I was
I
hoping
know.
to make that a bit more entertaining, but as I was saying it, I was like the anger was rising in me.
I'm sorry. I will say it was engaging,
Okay, that's
but
good.
um, but like not in a good way necessarily.
There's still a lot. Like I'm finally at rest because let's see, we got back on Monday night. Um, so I went with the mayor and the first gentleman. I drove down to T-Ticket the night before we left because I had a doctor's appointment today. So I assumed that that meant I would just go from their house when we got back on, well, whenever we got back. Uh, and so we drove to a shuttle, and the shuttle took us to Logan Airport. Uh, in the reverse of that, on Monday, our flight got in at when did it get in? I think 6 p.m., which felt like 3 p.m. for us, but we had gotten up early anyway. And so then we took the shuttle back, and that was like the longest bus ride of my life. I was so exhausted, and hungry, I suppose. Um, and then I realized that I should just go home to Mansfield that night anyway, because I probably wasn't going to have any work on Tuesday, and I didn't feel like just hanging around the house doing nothing for a whole day or a whole half a day. So I drove back to Mansfield that night, uh, drove back to T-Ticket yesterday, stayed the night, drove 20 minutes to the doctor's office, 20 more minutes in that same direction to the lab to get my lab work drawn,
Oh my
and then
gosh.
drove an hour back to T-Ticket, even though I was closer to my house by that point, or my apartment. And then I drove back to Mansfield at the very end of it, and I am just out of my mind.
Zonked out.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you wanted to play.
Well, I've been starving for it.
Yeah. You missed it.
I missed it. I craved it. I think that's pretty much it from my end.
Alright. I'm in Hokkaido right now, and it's a very confusing facility, let me just say.
I was confused by Hokkaido because I thought that was like the name of Japan before the English got there, but maybe it's also a place.
Today I had a frustrating meeting, so after school meeting,
Yes.
and it was the second one where we were discussing topics, discussing end of year awards.
Hmm.
And so at the previous meeting, we had whittled down a list. There are 2 awards for seniors. Whittled down a list of 3 on each side. And that was an annoying meeting because under the award thing, it said like faculty strongly suggests not giving more than 2, but then they give the history of it like for the past at least 5 years. And I think 4 of the 5 years had 3 people each. And so I was like, okay. And so I even said, like, why don't we just keep with this list right here? It seems easy. There's precedent there. And then someone was like, there were special reasons, it's a COVID year, it's a big class. I'm like, okay, well, I don't know why 4 out of 5 years were special situations then. So then we weren't decided, and I guess we're delaying the decision for a week, which someone mentioned the fear that when we get back, we're just going to rehash the same conversation sort of thing. But we ended up, not making a decision. So we come in today, and we have the same 3 people on either side. And then suddenly, someone adds 2 names back from the list of the previous list that we had, that students that were erased. And, saying that she was heartsick over, the names getting, and thought about it all week. And now suddenly they're on there. And well, let's just say I became frustrated at this, and I raised my hand to speak. I don't often speak at these things, and I said, there's something wrong here. If you're going to bring these 2 back, why are you not bringing everyone back? Basically said, there's an inequity here. And if this is really the issue, then you need to bring everyone back. I didn't say it, but I basically said, if you had an issue with the clerk erasing names, you should have said something. So that's on you for not saying it. I didn't say that though, but that was super frustrating. And, I said maybe there was an oops, but, I didn't mention this other student, so I don't know why we should do these 2. So one of the awards gets 3, and now we're down to this other award. And so this other award have 3 in the column, and I'm good with that 3, and then they're trying to pull in this one person. They had 2, so one of the 2 that they had written back up there. And I just thought, what's going on here? And I also felt like one of my admins was a hypocrite, because after I said what I said, she said that she agreed with me. And then all of a sudden, she's saying that between this new student and a student who's on the original list, the new student fits more of the mold. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. You can't say that you don't like these 2 names being added and then all of a sudden choose that person over there. And so then, the clerks are asking, is there energy, or because that's how they phrase it, I'm feeling energy around this, or are we good to say these? And I'm doing a thumbs down. And I guess they thought that, because they go by head nods or thumbs up, thumbs down. I guess they thought that I was raising my hand, so, and I was like, no, I'm just giving a thumbs down, but, the majority won or whatever. And then conversations continued, and there's just this one student that, I just felt like the original should have kept on there. I was getting so frustrated. And other people are going to bat for the one student who's going to inevitably get knocked off the list, not the new one that was re-added. And then, so they went with the 2 that were originally there, and then the one that got re-added. And so when they said, is everyone in consensus, I put my thumbs down. But I just thought it was so ridiculous, and then that was just an injustice that happened. And that was on them. If they felt guilty for not speaking up, then they should have said, hey, maybe let's not erase the names just yet. So I don't know why they all of a sudden were deciding to speak up 2 weeks later. So I was just I was livid after that meeting. I applied to be a DEI coordinator at school.
Mm-hmm.
Did I tell you that yesterday?
No.
Oh, okay. You just assented very nonchalantly. I thought I had already mentioned that. And trying to think of what else. Oh, I can tell you about the cooking club hubbub as well.
The cooking club hubbub?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, what goes into applying to be a DEI coordinator?
Good question. So this position assists the DEI office, which is made up of 2 people, and will help with certain events and workshops and things like that. And I don't really need extra work. However, The position does interest me. So the first round was an application. So they had several questions about, I guess, how does your ethos or educational philosophy fit with this position? Something about education, like personal education, time commitment, that sort of thing. So I felt like the application was pretty easy. I will admit to self-plagiarizing and copying and pasting from cover letters. However, everything was true, but just like paragraphs that were well written about multicultural education and things like that. So I did pass the first round, which was the application.
Okay.
And then I have an interview scheduled on Tuesday.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so 10 to 13 hours a month, which isn't too bad. $2,500 for the year, extra.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, we'll see. But I feel like, yeah, I mean, you know how my sense of justice gets inflamed. I mean, it was inflamed at that meeting.
Yes.
I even said about, I'm willing to have tough conversations, and I put in parentheses, this, I came to you about, the transphobic teacher. It's like, you've witnessed the fact that if I hear something, I'm doing something about it. So I feel like it would be good. I think the only thing that holds me back a bit just is my whiteness. Not that it's necessarily a detriment, but just hopefully, being in that position, that the students wouldn't think, they would, I guess, trust me, to come, and feel like, which of course you have to build that in other ways. But hopefully I would be respected despite my whiteness. And also I wouldn't want to take away from, someone who would have a different experience to reach out. The two, in the DI office, which are the two people, as I said, they're both black. Mm-hmm. So at least there is that representation. But that's the only thing that is my reservation, I think. But I think as long as you prove yourself an ally, in your words and your actions, that it would be okay. And I think my reputation with my students is pretty positive. Mm-hmm. So, fingers crossed.
Yeah, that'd be cool. It'd be like a more formal version of basically the work that you've already been doing.
Well, I know, seriously.
Like, you just have to say, I have a black friend. I strangle him sometimes.
Well, I could also say I have a Korean friend. Mm-hmm. And a Mexican friend. I can say that I collect my friends like Pokemon yes. cards.
But never two of the same kind, because that would be redundant.
Never. That is correct. I'm just waiting for your next evolution.
Yeah.
Thank you. I did make a faux pas. The student that is doing independent study with me, I thought that he was Chinese, and so when I asked him about his first language, I was like, Mandarin, right? And he's like, Korean. I'm like, oh my gosh, I should have just said, what's your first language? I know. I don't know. Jang is his last name, and I did not think that was a Korean surname.
Like Jango
that was my own. Yeah, exactly like that, just without the L.
Yeah, Chinese and Korean can be confusing because they're basically the same thing. Well, I made a faux pas too. This could take us into the cooking club story.
Uh-oh.
It was our last day. I think it was just our last day. Our last hotel day. We were heading out. So it was an early morning because we had to return the car and then take a shuttle to some unknown place, which would then take us to the airport. That was really weird. So we were eating breakfast. That was another highlight, was every hotel we went to had a complimentary breakfast, which was very exciting to all of us, except for Maggie, because she doesn't eat breakfast. And one of the runners of the week was peanut butter sandwiches, because the mayor was convinced that we would need food on the mountains or whatever, on the
Oh,
excursions.
yeah.
And peanut butter, you don't need doesn't need refrigeration. So the first town we went to, we got bread and peanut butter and other things, and made a bunch of sandwiches. I made a sandwich and
Oh,
put it in my bag,
sure.
and I never ate it because those complimentary breakfasts were rather filling. I pretty much ate 2 meals a day, which is incredible. I mean, they were big meals, but still. Um, and so on the last day, I realized I still had this peanut butter sandwich in my bag, which was now more than a week old. So I was like, well, I gotta get rid of this. I'm not gonna throw it away in the hotel room because I feel like that's rude. I don't. This is my thinking at like 6 a.m. Like I don't want the maid to or whoever house cleaner to deal with this. So I'm going to go down when we get breakfast, throw it away where food waste is, right?
Yep.
So I throw it away in the trash. And then I think to myself, oh my god, did I just deposit a biological weapon? Because what if somebody has a peanut allergy?
Oh no.
And I looked around, I was like, do they have peanut products here? Do they have peanut products? No, they don't. This is the only one. And I was like, I have killed somebody. And then I looked it up, and apparently it's a myth that, like, peanut can get in the air and kill stuff. Like, you actually have to, like, consume it if you have an allergy.
Okay.
So, but I was freaking out for like 3 hours at least. So the moral of the story is just to eat the food you have. Don't throw
I
away
guess
food.
so.
Never.
I guess so. Don't throw away food ever. There you go.
この前のぼや騒ぎはどうなった？ハンピン10万がコミジュルの縄張りに放火したって話。
ああ、気にかけてくれていたのか。ただ、その件についてはあまり話したくないんだよ。偉人帳の内輪もめだし、私がリーダーとして解決すべき問題だ。キリュウさんは気にしないでくれ。
逆だ。そういう時はな、一人で抱え込まない方がいいんだ。話してみてくれ。あんたにとって対等の立場で飲める相手は少ないんだろう。
いや、そうは言ったが、くそ。
You almost killed millions of people.
あまりあなたの仕事をさしたくない。
Yeah.
You feel bad about that?
Hmm. We saw lots of Asian tourists.
Really?
Yeah, which is interesting. Not a lot of black people, if ever. I assume it's just because like there are a lot of Asian people in the world, and so when they go on vacation, they go to places like this. And I don't know. If black people go on vacation, they go to Hawaii, because I only have Donovan's family as a point of reference. And I think that's the only vacation that he's ever gone on. But that was weird. It was just weird being, like, in a state that, I don't know, those places were very weird. Like, not even just, like, politically, but, like, because we didn't have any run-ins with, like, MAGA or Confederacy or whatever. We were, like, in the South, but, because they were definitely, like, tourist towns. But it's just, like, being, like, in the desert, it was almost claustrophobic. Like, I don't like being in a place where you just don't have access to the outside world, even if it is a world unto itself. I don't know. It was different than even Los Angeles, which is a very desolate place, but like Henderson in Nevada, just outside Las Vegas, like that place was just crazy. Like it was the dream of a town from True Detective. It was like, what is happening
Oh
here?
gosh.
But Moab was cool in Utah, and I did like being in Navajo land. Different time zone.
Plus, minus 2.
Something like that. It was really hard to keep track because I think in one day we went from Utah to Arizona to this Navajo territory, and like Arizona apparently doesn't do daylight savings time, and it was like a different time zone, so like we had no idea what time it was for like a whole day.
裏切り者の正体はコミジュルのサイコさんかも。名前はソハンチョルという。
その男がソハンチョルか。
以前あなたにも話した良きおじさんたちの一人だ。もうすぐ隠居してもおかしくない年なのにな。最後に一旗あげる気になったとも言える。
あんたのことを裏切ってか。サイコさんって言うんなら付き合いも長かったんだろう。辛いな。俺に事情を話しづらかったのもわかる。
それでも最後まで話す羽目になってしまった。あなたにはかなわないよ、桐生さん。
話して少しでも気が楽になったんならいいんだがな。
あなたにみっともないところを見せたくなかった。それがここまで打ち明けることになるとはな。
ソハンチョルは何か組織に不満を抱えていたのか。理由もなくクーデターなんて起こさねえはずだ。
特別思い当たる節はないね。強いて言えば、私が女で若いからかもしれない。百戦錬磨のフルツワモンとしては、こんな私の下で終わりたくないということか。
まさにおじさんの考えだな。
いくつかのルートから同じ報告が来ていてね。ソーハンチョルは密かに反逆の同士に声をかけている。曰く、孫妃は女にしては上出来だが弱腰すぎる。組織をまとめるのにもっとふさわしい者がいる。
そんなヨタを吹いて回ってんのか。
私がその気になれば、偉人帳の動きは全て筒抜けだ。ソハンチョルはもう現代の情報戦についていけてない。だがその一方、過去の英雄としては人望がある。かくいう私も彼らの武勇伝を聞いて育った世代だ。登場界の全盛期に死闘を演じたまさなのね。敵に回すことになるとは想定もしていなかった。
高いプライドを捨てきれず時代から取り残された過去の遺物さ。
まったく、もういい年なのに無茶をする。あ、一応言っとくと、ソハンチョルは桐生さんよりもっとだいぶ年上だからね。
取ってつけたように言いやがる。そんなことよりあんたはそのソハンチョルをどうするつもりなんだ。組織のリーダーとして裏切り者をどう扱う。
こうなるから桐生さんに話したくなかったんだ。あいにくまだ決めかねているんだよ。
難しいところだ。すぐには決められないだろう。
組織の長という立場からすると、決断は早ければ
The NPCs walk so slowly.
私には考える時間がいる。幸いあなたでも難しいと言うんだから少し気が楽になったよ。ありがとう桐生さん。迷いを人に話すとすっきりするんだな。
ああ、そういうもんらしい。
とはいえ、あなたには他にやることがあるだろう。そちらの抱える問題は私のより差し迫っている。私はあなたの手を煩わせたくはない。だからここからはもっとくだらない話をして飲まないか。
そうだな。それが一番贅沢な飲み方ってもんだ。
やはりあなたはよくわかってる。
I watched a couple of movies on the plane.
Oh, what'd you watch?
I watched Maxine, which I had heard was the weakest of the three, but I actually thought it was really good. I think Pearl was probably still the best, but I thought it was solid. And then I started watching Halloween Kills, which I was actually enjoying, but it was like way too gory to be watching on a plane. I don't know, I don't know why it was even an option. When he puts the broken light into the girl's throat, I was like, okay, I cannot be watching this. So I had to stop.
Is that the third one?
That's the second one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because the third one is like such a mishigosh that I was surprised to hear you said that it was good.
Yeah. I doubt I'll ever get around to that one.
You could have watched The Brutalist.
Well, that wasn't available on, what was it, JetBlue. But yeah, that would have taken up the whole flight.
It would have. It's on HBO Max, apparently.
Oh, wow.
So, you can finally tell me what you think.
Starring the guy from King Kong.
Which one?
2005.
With Naomi Watts?
And Adrian Brody. That's what I still think about when I think of Adrian Brody.
Bless you.
Oh, that was the other thing. I was pretty much sick the whole time.
Oh no.
I almost didn't bring my allergy meds because I figured it's the desert, but they were like worse out there for some reason.
This level is hard because you can't bring anything with you.
Oh, wow.
You start it with nothing, you have to discover things. So all the doors are biometric. See, well, maybe not biometrically, but there's like a chip in our robes. So, also lost. Yeah, you can't, all of these locks are, can't do anything about it.
So you're in like a sauna or something?
There is it's a health spa.
That's good. You need to relax every now and again.
That's true.
That's disgusting, Stella. Don't ever blow your nose on the air.
Yeah.
That's bad ASMR.
Mister.
Damn it.
I started watching The Handmaid's Tale final season today.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Now, Gracie said that her friends said that the final season, at least so far, is good. Would you agree with that statement?
Well, it was just the first episode,
Uh-huh.
so yeah, it feels like so long that it's hard to almost hard to get back into it.
Mm.
But no, it was pretty intense.
It's crazy that started during the first Trump administration, and here we are again.
Oh gosh, we've learned nothing.
I know, seriously. I read recently that Craig Mazin says The Last of Us is going to be 4 seasons. What do you think about that?
So season 3, Abby perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And then season 4, all the Rat Wars stuff.
Yep. Take that roughly 3 hours of gameplay and stretch it into
I
a
know,
7-episode season.
golly. Interesting.
I did hear that last week's episode was very good, possibly the best episode of the season, or rather, the series.
I would agree.
Wow. I have to remember to watch those before Sunday. Let's see. Where? Oh.
Whoa.
You got problems.
Well, just someone spotted me, and it was like a doctor, so I wasn't sure why he should spot me.
Well, you know, they do no harm. If they see a problem, they have to address it.
I texted the mayor and I said, I heard about the glitch, I'm sorry, and gave her a hug emoji. And she said it's okay, we bounced back from it.
She doesn't realize, or she doesn't know that I think that that's part of the problem.
Yeah. Is that always? That's just been the shoot way?
Yeah.
Do you all have, like, tough conversations?
Never. My father isn't even sure that he gave me the talk. And frankly, I don't know if he did either.
Oh, yeah. I think I remember you telling me about that.
That's crazy. Maybe he just knew that it wouldn't be any use.
Oh, that's so sad.
Nah. It's good. Too many people are having sex. Go. Alright. Okay. hear that music playing?
I can only hear what's coming through for me.
Okay. Yeah, somebody's like
I mean,
sitting
I
in the
hear
parking lot.
her.
There's just nothing worse. Well, the worst kind of music in the world is just anybody else's music. Especially music coming from cars. That's like a very specific brand of, I don't want to hear this.
I'm following this man and he keeps stopping.
Well, you know how it is at the sauna. Take things at a different speed.
俊足の野球選手と解く。
その心は
盗塁に要注意だ。
なるほど。まあ私は桐生さんの人生観的な話を聞きたかっただけで、桐生さんの小話を聞きたかったかっていうと、いえ、面白かったからいいです。結構お茶目ですよね、桐生さん。
楽しんでもらえたなら何よりだ。
あ、そうだ。せっかくだし、一枚写真撮りません？おしゃれなカフェで撮ると映えますよ。
別に構わないが、そういうのはラテを飲む前に撮るもんじゃねえのか？
Uh-oh.
まあ、細かいことはいいじゃないですか。じゃあ、撮りますね。いまいち映えてないけど、こういうのもいい記念かも。これからもみんなで街を歩いてお話ししたり写真撮ったりしましょうね。
ああ、これからもよろしくな。
いらっしゃいませ。ありがとうございます。
Oh, somehow I pulled off his hair, question mark?
Very impressive.
I don't know if it was a, maybe the doctor had a disguise, or a, what's that called? A toupee?
Oh. That would thwart the assassin.
That's true.
わかった。
A wig. Wear like a pregnancy suit if you're going to commit a crime. And glasses. If you could get one of those Mission Impossible 2 face masks, that would be good
Oh,
too.
yeah. That's the way to do it. Well, I do have glasses, and the hair does look pretty darn fake, but here we are.
Have you watched all the MI movies by now?
I have.
Wow.
Yep.
Very impressive. Have your thoughts on any of them changed, evolved?
No, I don't think so. The last one was super complicated, though. But I'm glad I watched that one this week so then I can be prepared.
Mm-hmm. Is that out this week?
Yes, it's out Friday.
Why are you sad?
Oh, just to watch Elsa die again.
Oh, yes.
But we'll see. It seems like the next, it seemed like they could only have one female character at a time. But
Yes.
I think, but the villain, one of the villains, um, survived. So the previous film.
Oh.
So they'll have two.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did notice that just going from Ghost Protocol to Rogue Nation. I was like, what happened to Paula Patton?
I always wonder that every time I watch that film. I'm like, huh, where'd she go? Or Maggie Q, where did she go? Or, yeah.
God, I didn't know she was in MI3. I guess that was the era of the Q, because she was in Die Hard 4 around that time.
What's happening? Is this bugging out? It says to stand right here, and I'm not doing anything. Oh, okay. Hmm. Wow, I'm unsure what to do.
Uh-oh.
I went to the mainframe to sabotage it, but each time I pulled out a sabotage thing, I was getting beat up by the computer. And then I died.
Is this like a destroy all human situation where every time you die they clone another one? Or is it like
Oh,
a reset?
a reset to your previous save.
Okay.
Yeah. 'There's these two bodyguard bros that are like, or security, that are trying to push up each other for
That'll
some
be me,
reason.
Donovan.
Ooh, that could be good.
I'd have to figure out how to do one. being canceled online.
By whom?
A mysterious VTuber. That's one of the weird themes in this game.
Shoot. 3124.
Okay.
3 1 2 4. It was a specific pattern, unfortunately. Now I have one more person. He has a oh. Sorry, I've lost track. I have to destroy a computer named Kai and kill a Yakuza lawyer and and this guy who has a heart on the wrong side of his body.
You got your work cut out for you.
It seems that.
I guess if you have the heart on the wrong side of your body, you're sort of duty-bound to do something dangerous, because you would survive at least getting shot once.
That is true.
沢城たちのいいように動かされてたのかもしれません。こうなると昨日あいつらがパレカラの本性を知らねえっつってたのも怪しいもんです。
海老名と沢城に何もかも仕組まれていたとしたら、これから何が起きる？
Oh, I got a shuriken.
British viewers, avert your eyes.
そうしたいのは山々だが、昨日とはわけが違うぞ。下手をすればあそこにいた全清流会を相手することになる。あんな動画にネットに出した以上、向こうはもう臨戦態勢。
Ooh, I got a new suit.
桐生さんを本調子でないのは
Is it a samurai suit?
No, it's a white suit with a fuchsia shirt and an orange tie. It's called a sunset suit.
清流会は新事務所ができた分、偉人町本部の方は手薄になってるはずでしょう。だからまずそっちを当たってみるんです。誰か話のできる幹部連中が残ってるかもしれませんよ。
なるほど。それなら悪くない。
行ってみるか。
The plot is thickening. Oops. Wait.
The guy needs an organ transplant, so I guess he got a left-sided heart on the black market.
That's interesting. Maybe he's gonna go to California like some real-world Yakuza guys did. Oh.
Years ago, her agency took extraordinary and vice versa.
ここですよ、桐生さん。清流会の本部です。
はいはいはいはい、お待ちしていましたよ。こちらは万力ジャーナルです。
なんだこいつら。
皆さんご覧ください。伝説の極道が今私たちの目の前に立っています。タタラチャンネルの告発で話題沸騰、桐生一馬氏です。
ああ、なるほど。再生数目当てのハイエナだ。
取材させてくださいよ、桐生さん。すごいっすね。自分死んだことにしてこそこそ隠れてきたわけでしょ。それが明るみに出て今どんな気持ちですか？ほら一言、早く早く。
邪魔だ。
いって骨が折れたわ。
なんなのこの茶碗は。
当たり屋か。
皆さん見ましたか、この凶暴性。これが桐生一馬という伝説の
ガキの遊びに付き合ってる気分じゃねえ。とっととうせろ。
本当に病人なのこの人。
おい、ざっけんだよ。マジで骨が折れたじゃねえか。全部取ってやるぞ。
ほう、思ったより根性があるじゃないか。
お前ら何やってんだ。行け。俺が
けなくなってるみたいだけど。
大丈夫だ。話はついてるからよ。
こっちに来ることはエビにはお見通しだったが、
カセネタの配信といい、このお出迎えといい、もう敵意むき出しだね。
これが清流会からの宣戦布告ってとこだ。
ならどうするキリさん。
決まってる。売られた喧嘩は買うまでだ。行くぞ。
沈めてやる。
覚悟してよね。
私の番や。肩をつけよう。
おう、
一発で決めるよ。
当然だ。
Well,
Is that it?
I think I might call it quits earlier than normal.
Okay.
But also, you should rest, young man.
It's true.
Yeah.
Well,
What are
thank
your
you.
plans? Yeah. Well, no, thank you, because really, you gave me a bone by hanging out with me for a little bit.
My plans for the week?
Do you have to? Yeah, you go back to work immediately tomorrow?
Yeah, I actually started work yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Still not a whole lot going on there, so we'll see. We shall see. What are your plans for the rest of the week?
Just, let's see, 2 more days of school. I'm podcasting with Tom tomorrow on Never Let Me Go.
Oh,
And then on Saturday going to the arts festival that I missed last August. They moved it to May. Hopefully it's nice weather.
That should be fun.
And then Sunday I'll see you, and Monday I'm off because of Memorial Day.
Oh, that's right. I am off as well.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yes.
Anything else?
I think that's it. I'm a bit adrift right now in terms of like the creative projects that I left because I don't know how to get back into that mind space. Hopefully this week I'll get it sorted.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Okay. Well, I hope you rest well,
Thank you.
and I'll talk to you later.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
タタラチャンネルから DM が来たんです。キリュウさんがその清流会の本部に
I think you just said Kiryu-san.
組の人が守ってくれるから挑発して動画を撮れと。
孫妃の予想通りだね。タタラチャンネルとエビナたちはつながってた。
That's so ridiculous. I guess of everything in this game so far, that's the thing that I find too ridiculous. That a Yakuza would set up a successful influencer channel just to manipulate 2 people.
多分
Is he gonna be the other guy? The one of two guys I'm missing still? Ugh. Gotta get a seat cushion. Awkward. I don't know what time is it. My phone is charging over there. Maybe I'll, oh, we're gonna be back in Hawaii? I guess I should hang around here for a second. Oh, I guess it's not gonna be that guy. God. Almost 50 hours. Oh, 50 hours. Oh, so it's probably like 10. Yeah, very tired though. I think it's just hitting me now. Alright, we'll see where we are at the end of this cutscene. I do wonder if there aren't loading times in the PS5 version of this game. Because I can't imagine it's like a graphical, like the graphics probably aren't any different. Oh. Chapter 9. Hard-headed woman. Is that going to be about Chitose? It's a bit of a loose end, what her deal is. Alright. Okay. Hanging out.
南波からメールが返ってきたよ。桐生さんたちは無事に帰国できたってさ。一旦偉人町の俺の部屋で休んでてもらうみてえだ。よかったです。じゃあ桐生さんの方はひとまず安心ですね。しかし参ったな。茜さんがラニを守ろうとしてるって分かったまではいい。問題はそこからの足取りだ。ええ。パレカナが血眼になって探しているのに、どこでどうやって身を隠せているのか。そもそも、茜さんたちは今も本当に無事でいるのか。
Isn't this the bartender?
動画チャンネルの方にはなんか反応は。
Chi-chan.
いや、まだ来てないね。
やっぱり年寄りは動画なんて見ねえのかな。これ見たら、茜さんきっとメッセージくれると思うんですけどね。今、私の方でもネットに拡散してるんです。友達に頼んだりして。ハワイに限って言えば、それなりの人に見られているはずです。
Why would a video like that have gone viral?
再生回数は5万を超えました。
50,000? That's not even close to viral.
上出来じゃねえか。おお、大したもんだ。じゃあ。
Even I used to get 50,000 hits for things back in the day. Oh, AI bots, there you go. Yeah, right.
甘いな。そもそも収益化するのにも条件があるの。チャンネルの登録者数だったり、
See, she knows.
再生数だったりね。このチャンネルはその条件をまだ全然クリアしてない。な
るほど。そう簡単なものじゃねえわけだ。
Don't know how actual YouTubers do it.
そう。一番たちが知らなすぎなんだよ。
Ludi at Pughnai presented by World of Tanks or World of Warships. Customize your own warship and take it into battle. Don't forget to use keyword Ludi to enter a coma. Oh, that was such a funny line. Get your Beck's burger. Out of Hawaii?
そいつはありがてんだけどよ。
Not leaving yet, are we?
大道寺一派ってのを信用していいのかわからねえ。そのお気持ちはごもっともです。私でさえなぜ一派が茜さんを保護したいのかはっきりしませんからね。ただし、ハワイ中で狙われる茜さんを安全に連れ出すのはあなた方だけでは不可能でしょう。海を越えるには我々の力が必要になる。違いますか？ああ、そいつは認めるよ。けどそれもまず茜さんを見つけないことにはな。私がパレカナから知らされた情報では、ばあさんたちが最後に確認された。
Oh, this guy we still have. Daniel Day Kim's face.
ばあさんって言うんじゃん。茜さんだよ。
ナイトスクエアっていうと病たちの縄張りですよね。
病とは手打ちになったってのにまたあそこに行け。
For those of you interested, Daniel Day Kim has a new Amazon show coming out soon called Butterfly, with an actress called Raina Hardesty. I don't know how that's pronounced. But she is the spitting image of Julie Estelle. So I just think, you know, not to say that one replaces the other, but if Julie's not interested in, you know, action stuff anymore, that's totally cool. Maybe somebody else could take up the mantle. I suppose I'll have to see Nobody 2 in theaters. And I'll have to see Nobody 1, which I've been meaning to watch for now 4 years?
まずはこの前の堀市のおばちゃんとこ行くか。情報通だって話だったよな。
またあそこに行くのか。
So let's see, that's June Ballerina, July Jurassic Park, and maybe 28 years later, August. Sure, there's something. I assume that John Wick documentary is going to be straight to streaming, so that's not. I mean, I don't think I'd go see a documentary in theaters, but that'll be cool. It's kind of weird that Derek Kolstad wasn't in that trailer at all. I don't know if they iced him out, but I think Kolstad co-wrote Nobody 2, so at least him and David Leitch are still friends. I don't know. Oh my god, another cutscene. The funny thing is, like, there's not that. Okay, what is this? Bryce's influence has brought the Barracudas and the Gonjo to greater levels of aggression, become considerably stronger. Oh, good. Let's get into a fight before we go. I'm not gonna find it here. Geode. Sorry. So everybody's on the roster here. So yeah, there's like a lot of voice acting in this game. I feel like when you come out of a cutscene... Oh, wait a minute. That's a plot point right there. It might be a quick one. Let's just do it. I assume it's going to be a fight. Oh, whoa. Oh, they can see me from like a million miles away. Who's this guy running up? It's kind of scary, actually. So when you have like a fully voice acted cutscene and then you go to a... oh, they have like our level. To like text, I just feel like that's just like something that's so like ProZD would make fun of that. And it's like I just feel like they can afford to voice act the whole game because there's just so much voice acting. So it must be a stylistic choice. That's the point I was trying to get to. Like, there's just something sort of nostalgic about it. And I kind of appreciate that, if that is the case. I appreciate it anyway, I suppose. No! Damn it! But there definitely are some gamey parts of this game that kind of, not bother me, but I've been kind of meaning to put into words. Like, the drink link thing. I don't like how that doesn't actually become side quests. I don't know. Oh, I could do combos. Because, like, I would have liked to have confronted the guy that this guy was dealing with. Oh, he's guarding. That was dumb. Tomizawa. Alright, let's just heal him then. Because... what do I have? A cold? No, poisoned. I already passed it, didn't I? Poison! Jesus Christ. User. Take this guy out. That's so funny. Just standing on him. Alright. Yeah, that was kind of tough. It's good though. We're back to real money. Oh, I should look at classes, because I never really did. Yeah, let's do that. What is this? Oh my gosh, this is like so weird. Well, there was that one, but isn't there another one? Right here. You can just go to the mall. And there's no more, like... I feel like this is where all the side quests are. Oh my god, it's been so long. Can I just take a taxi? Come on. I'm gonna go past this. Maybe not when there's like a thing you gotta do. Alright, I'll just do it later. And I will do it next week later. Bye, everybody.